Hey guys, welcome back to Wacky Engineering, and today we have the biggest cargo rack I've ever seen in front of us. This is the Mac Daddy of cargo racks, and it was sent to us by Mockins, so shout out to them for sending it to us. But I think they've thought of everything here. I mean, we have every component. We even have a 7-pin to 4-pin adapter, just in case your vehicle only had 7-pin. We have electrical connectors. We have electrical tape even. Ratchet straps, all the hardware. We have the ginormous cargo bag. Here's our lights. It came with a hitch pin that is a lockable version, so that's nice. This is, I believe, a stabilizer to keep this thing stable. It's pretty big, so I'm sure that's a necessity. And you can even put your license plate on this. So when you lose visibility of your license plate, you relocate it to this rack. Okay, so the first step in the assembly process shows putting the spring locks on each side. So we have 7mm ratchet here and then just a little mini crescent wrench. So we'll just put all 4 of these down from the top, and then we'll put the nuts on the back side. Okay, so we'll get all 4 of them started. These are like a nylon lock nut, so you can't just get them finger tight. They take a little bit of force to run in. Okay, one down, one to go. Okay, so the next step is to put on this receiver channel here, and then we have our brackets right here that go across. So the side where your hitch pin would go through with the 2 holes through the side is going to go to the front, and then you can see where the tail lights would go. That's the back. And then one other note that it says is the bolt that goes through here, it says wait to put that on until after you install the light. So I don't know if the wires route through there. We'll see that in a minute, but we're going to go ahead and start putting these on. And this is a 17mm ratchet. We will actually tighten these bolts later after we get that last one in, so we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, so the next step is to install this piece that goes from the cargo carrier to your vehicle's receiver hitch, and it goes on like this, and the bolt goes towards the tail lights. And I usually like to keep everything loose whenever I'm assembling anything, and then I go back at the end and tighten everything up. That way I know everything's going to line up. Okay, and then we'll install this pin. And we'll just snug this a little bit. The head of the bolt is 22mm. This must be the next size up for the nut. So the next step is to install this license plate spring assembly. And you want to make sure to install it with the bolt head facing out. And these are the nylocks or nylon nut. So they won't rattle loose, but they are a little harder to put on. I do like that they use the nylon lock nuts. That way nothing will rattle loose on you while you're going down the road. And this is 13mm. All right, so we're gonna put on this license plate adapter here, and we're not gonna put on a license plate right now, but This bar right here is threaded, so we'll just run these screws in. Okay, so here's our trailer lights. We're gonna install them with the connector going in, and you just push them in. Okay, I guess that's as far as they go. So we have our two electrical connectors here, and make sure the one that has a blue wire goes on the left-hand side. So these just plug in like this. So the next step is going to be to route these wires, and we have these little clips to keep the wires routed where they need to go, and then we route them down through these holes and then in through the side of this square tubing here. They'll come through, and we'll show a better angle on that here in a second, but I just want to get this in here. And this is a 8mm. Okay, and you want to make sure you kind of have this pulled slightly tight so you have all the slack taken out of it. Okay, now we just have to do these two, and then we'll move on to the next step. So here's our little 4-pin. We're going to come in from the side that goes into the receiver, and we're going to slide in through here. We're going to slide this all the way through. So here's the connector that they give you. We'll be using that in a second, but first we got to strip the wires. Okay, and then I usually like to kind of straighten the wires and twist them a little bit so they don't bunch up on you. Okay, so we're gonna put our stripped wires in here. So these 4 wires, I mean, they're color coded, so you just stick it in there and flip the lever down. And then we'll do the other 2 yellow ones that go together. Blue, I guess that's brownish orange. And then the 2 yellows and the 2 reds go together. And then this side, blue, orange, yellow, red. So we'll tape this up so we can keep it dry. Okay. So now, with those wires tucked in there, we can put our final bolt that we left out. So here's our little black cap to keep all this out of the elements. There we go. So we're going to tighten up all these bolts, but I just wanted to make sure it was square. So you can see right here it's not, and then if I push it over a little bit, now it's square. All right, she's all tightened up. All right, next step, we're going to put these reflectors on. So this one's on the bottom, so when you fold it up, there's some visibility on it. And then there's one on each side. All right, let's go throw it on the car. All right, so we're gonna install this thing on the vehicle. We'll open up our hitch pin here. So just so we're ready. Thing is pretty big. There we go. Okay, so we got that locked. We're gonna grab the hitch stabilizer and slap that on next. So we're gonna put on this hitch stabilizer, and you make sure that this points upwards, and you just butt it right up to the receiver of your vehicle. Then we got our lock washer and a nut. Okay, and this is a 16 millimeter. Okay, let's plug this in. So this is your standard 4-blade trailer connector, and then they came with a 7-pin adapter in case you only have a 7-pin. And we'll show that in a little bit on the truck. I don't know, this thing's pretty solid. All right, we're gonna load this thing up. So we wanted to show just how much stuff you can fit in this thing. And we started having to find shoe boxes and tool boxes and animal kennels just to fill this thing all the way up because we didn't have enough luggage. But this thing, if you're planning on going all the way across the country and you're bringing your family, your extended family, all your belongings, this is for you. I think a lot of people underestimate just how big this cargo carrier is. And this thing is fully waterproof too, so you don't have to worry about your stuff getting wet. All right, let's start strapping her down. So once again, the size of this thing. If you have a lot of cargo you gotta carry around, this is the cargo carrier for you. All right, we're gonna go take this thing on a test drive, see how she handles. Well, just in case you wanted to do a little bit of off-roading with your cargo rack, we're going to see what that looks like. Pretty sturdy to me. So here's the 7-pin adapter it came with. So you just fit that into your 7-pin, and then the 4-pin plugs in here. And this thing also came with a cargo net. We didn't use it today because we didn't really have a use for it, but definitely something that might be able to be used. Any other features? There was the tag that flips down when you fold this thing up. The tail lights and brake lights work good. Yeah, pretty solid. All right, we got this thing hooked up to the truck and we're ready to do some drifting. Well guys, here's the Mockins cat daddy of cargo trailers, and as you can see from the assembly process, it wasn't too bad to assemble. It holds a heck of a lot of cargo, and it holds up off-road, drifting, holds up to all the abuse we put it through. It's a little lopsided from the drifting, but that's to be expected. Nobody should be doing that when they got their valuables in here. So anyway, I'd say this thing gets a thumbs up from us. See you next time.